Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Erin McKenzie and you should definitely hit the subscribe button down below. But in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my top Netflix shows and movies that I feel like you guys should watch. So yeah, there's actually no particular order that I'm going to be stating the shows or movies in. I just looked at my list on Netflix and I just wrote down the movie or show. So there's no particular order, there's no particular genre that I'm going by. I'm just showing you guys my favorite movies and shows. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. So the first show is called The Vampire Diaries, and if you haven't watched this show, you're missing out because this show is absolutely amazing. Basically, it has to do with vampires, witches, sirens, werewolves, all that fun stuff. So if you're interested in that, this show would be really good to watch. And I am in love with this show so much because I love like mermaids, werewolves, vampires. I'm into all of that stuff. And if you're into that stuff too, comment down below and put me on some shows if I don't already state them in this video. But yeah, this show is super good and it has 8 seasons, so it's totally binge worthy. And I've watched this show over like 3 times already. I actually rewatched it during quarantine and it was all over TikTok for a while, which kind of made me rewatch it. But yeah, I pretty much know every single line. You could test me on it and I would know every single line. And yeah, all my TVD fans, comment down below. I rate this show a 10 out of 10. The next show kind of correlates with The Vampire Diaries. Is called The Originals, and some of the characters in The Vampire Diaries are actually from the originals. You should watch it in the order The Originals and The Vampire Diaries, because if you don't watch the originals, then you won't know the backstory and the stories behind some of the characters in Vampire Diaries, because they do kind of come into the show. So make sure you watch that. It's the same thing. There's werewolves, vampires, but it kind of tells the story of the Michaelsons. I rate this show a 10 out of 10. The next show is Outer Banks, and y'all, I am in love with this so much. Actually, TikTok got me watching this because it was all over TikTok during quarantine, and I was like, okay, let me check it out, and I fell in love. But basically, beach kids, they're on a beach. One of the kids' dad like dies. He's murdered. I don't want to say too much because I will tell you guys, I will ruin the show if I tell you guys. The kid's dad is murdered, and so it's like a whole mystery, and like his dad left clues before he left, and so one of those clues is the merchant's gold, and they left us on a cliffhanger where the girl and the dude were on the way to go to the gold. It's like a whole thing. Like the girl's dad actually killed the boys. Okay, so the girl and the guy, I'm not gonna say too much or the character's name because I want you guys to watch it, but the girl's dad that the dude is with killed the dude's father, and she found out and she was like freaking out, like, my dad's a murderer, like, oh my gosh. And she was freaking out, and it's a really great show, and it's teenagers, and I feel like you should watch it. I rate this show a 10 out of 10. But yeah, it's super crazy. They left us on a cliffhanger, which I'm really disappointed about, but season 2, hopefully they will not cancel it because of the virus, so I'm really hoping that they come out with season 2. So the next show is Grand Army, and I really like this show because towards the end of the video, like the last episode, it kind of highlights a little bit of BLM, Black Lives Matter. I would definitely recommend you watch this with an adult or someone that you trust, because there's some trigger warnings in there that I feel like, depending on your experiences in life and depending on what you've been through, your traumas, this can trigger that. So definitely watch it with an adult or someone that you trust, because it's a little more mature audience. I watched it by myself because I did not have any triggers. There's one scene in there that is very you just need to watch it with someone because it can trigger you. The episodes are also pretty long too. Same as Outer Banks, the episodes are like 54 minutes long. So you can definitely binge watch this if you are needing a show to watch. So the next show is Jane the Virgin, and I rate this show a 9 out of 10. Pretty much Jane gets artificially inseminated by someone that is not her. She didn't even go in to get that. She went in for like a checkup, I think. She gets artificially inseminated, and then she ends up falling in love with the dude that she got artificially inseminated with, that dude's kid. And she already had a boyfriend, and so it's like a whole thing. It's super funny. She literally falls in love with 2 dudes at the same time. It's crazy. It's a crazy storyline, and yeah, I definitely think you guys should watch it. So the next show was Stranger Things. I give this an 8 out of 10. This is the Netflix original, so I'm waiting on, I think, season 5 to come out right now. But pretty much if you're into like weird creatures, science-y, like stuff like that, I would definitely recommend. I'm into it because it's just really cool, and it's really like 90s theme. Basically, 11, she can not read minds, she can like move stuff with her mind, and it's really creepy. They have creepy, like, I guess you could say monsters, but creepy things that go on, but pretty much it's the upside down. It's like really weird, and I forgot the little kid's name, but he gets sucked into the upside down. It's like a whole thing to try to find him. I would definitely recommend this. So the next show is Good Girls, and I rate this an 8 out of 10. This show is really funny and really like crazy. Like, these girls are crazy. 3 girls rob a grocery store, and 1 out of 3 girls work at the grocery store, and there's a little bit of murder and mystery to it. It's nothing crazy. They're not like scary when I say murder. They basically robbed the bank because they were desperate in a time of need, and like one of the girls' husband cheated on her, so like she had to provide for the family. He wasn't doing his job as a husband or a father, so she had to step in and help with the money. And then one of the girls, she robbed the bank because her daughter, I forgot what disease she had, but it was basically 10K, and she didn't have the money to pay for the surgery or something like that, or like the medicine, so she robbed the bank. And then the other girl just robbed the bank because, like, for no reason. And I would also watch the show with an adult because there is some like sexual things in there. It be a trigger warning because something kind of bad happens to one of the girls, so just keep that in mind if you want to watch this. My next show is All American, and I rate this an 8 out of 10. I was so disappointed when I heard that All American was coming on, but it wasn't coming on to Netflix. It was coming on to the TV. We don't have cable, but we are able to access like the TV channels, but I don't want to watch an episode every week. I want to watch the whole thing so I can just binge watch it, you know. Spencer, he kind of, I think they're in Los Angeles, California. He pretty much gets recruited to go play with a team in Beverly. He gets to leave his other home and then goes there and like kind of just becomes one of them. The next show is Riverdale, and I'd rate this a 7 out of 10 because this show gets really stupid after season 2. Like, they come up with the most ridiculous stuff, but season 1 was the best season to me, and can't nobody tell me that, because after season 1 stuff just got stupid and weird, and I feel like they were making seasons because they were bored. Like, I don't know, they did not have to make a season 2, 3, or 4. I believe there's 4 seasons, because season 1 was enough. Overall, through 4 is just not it, but season 1 is great. There's a little bit of murder and mystery, like I said, and it's teenagers again, and I watch a lot of like teen dramas, all that stuff, because I'm a teenager and I guess that's just what I prefer. The next show is called Insatiable. I think that's how you say it. If I'm not, I'm sorry, but I rate this an 8 out of 10. Debbie Ryan is the main actress. It's funny too, and it has a little bit of murder in it, but when I say murder, guys, like, I don't mean like they're actually showing like the gory parts. It's nothing like that. You just gotta watch it. It's funny, but there's a little bit of killing going on. But pretty much she was like a fat kid, and she was bullied, and she lost a lot of weight by this dude named Bob. He helped her lose weight, and pretty much she just basically like walks into school and like, I'm the stuff now, and all the dudes try to hit on her, but she doesn't go for it because she's like, y'all bullied me and y'all need to stay away from me. And pretty much she just was the fat kid who got bullied, and then she turned into like a super pretty petite skinny girl. It's really a funny show. I actually canceled it. They canceled the show, which I'm very disappointed about. I rated it an 8 out of 10 because they canceled it, and like, it's such a good show. It shouldn't have been canceled, but I'm pretty sure they canceled it due to COVID or whatever, but I'm very disappointed about that. Next show is called Znation, and I rate this a 10 out of 10. If you're into zombies and stuff like that, like creepy stuff like that, you would love this show. An outbreak of zombies happens. One of the characters actually are half human, half zombie, and the zombies, like, some of them can be fast, some of them can actually like walk regularly, and some of them can run, and it's really creepy. Some of them are really fast. Like, they've like got some really weird stuff going on. Like I said, one of the guys he actually turns into half human, half zombie, so he's able to like talk to the zombies, and it's really actually kind of cool. So if you're interested in anything like that, if you're interested in The Walking Dead, then you would definitely be interested in Znation. So the next show is called iZombie, and I rate this a 7 out of 10. She went to like a party, I believe, and a zombie outbreak happened, and she woke up and it was a zombie. The difference in between the other zombies and this kind of zombie show, it eats brains of the dead people. Eventually it helps a detective solve murder mysteries or like cases and stuff like that. She works in the morgue, and her name is Liv. She eats the brain. When she eats the brain, she's able to like see what happened, and able to like see what happened, and she's able to like think what they think, and just basically she's looking through their eyes when she eats the brain, so she's able to help Will, the detective, solve the mysteries. And I absolutely love this show because it's really cool and it's really different. I've never really seen a show like this. So the next show is called In the Dark, and I rate this 7 out of 10. She is a blind girl. Her name is Murphy. She is a blind girl, and her best friend, he was about, I think he was like 15, 16, 17, I forgot the age, but he is killed. And so she's like really determined. She actually found his dead body, like, you know, when one of your senses go out, like the others get stronger. So like she was able to, she had came across him. They were supposed to meet one night, and she came across like a body she felt, and like she was like screaming and panicking because it's like, this is my friend, like this is my friend, like he's dead. And she was screaming his name and like he wasn't replying, so like she was like freaking out. She actually becomes friends with the dude's daughter, the murderer, the killer's daughter. She becomes friends with the killer's daughter, and she's also blind, the daughter. And later on in season 2, the daughter finds out that she's a murderer, and so the daughter's like freaking out. And the dude, the killer, like he's crazy. The dude is actually a cop, so like he can hide this stuff, like he won't get caught. And he eventually gets caught though. And so he kidnaps Murphy, and it's really crazy. And he tries to have the dude with her, and it's just crazy. Like this show is crazy. Season 2 was like the best season. I really like season 2, but yeah, go watch that because it's really crazy. So the next show is 13 Reasons Why. I rate this show a 10 out of 10, and let me explain, because there's like a lot of controversy on this one, because they feel like a lot of people think they could have stopped making the seasons at season 1, but I think differently. I think that I love the fact that they made other seasons, because it highlights other problems and other things that us teenagers face. Not only do we face like suicide and stuff like that in our age, but drug substances, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, like all that stuff is highlighted in the show, and it tells the stories of other kids, like abuse, like for example Tyler abuse, what happened to Jessica. It highlights all of that stuff, not only the fact that people are out here harming themselves in those kinds of ways, and it highlights those. So I love this show, but I would watch it with an adult or someone you trust, because there's definitely some explicit stuff in there that can trigger you depending on your experiences in life. So the last show that I have is called The Society, and let me tell you before I even start explaining the show, they canceled the show due to COVID. They canceled the freaking show due to COVID, and I am so disappointed, because this literally would have been one of my favorite shows. So let me explain what even happened. So in this show, a whole bunch of group of kids, from high school kids, they like wake up one day and like there's nobody in the town except them. Like the parents are gone, there's nothing, everything is empty, and they basically are trying to figure out like what happened, and we don't even know what happened because they canceled it. And so I would tell you guys to watch it, but I am so upset because I got attached to the show, because I like fell in love with the show, and now I have problems because they freaking canceled the show, and I'm so upset about that. So the first movie I have is Good Burger, and if you know me, then I've definitely mentioned this to you. It's super funny, and so pretty much Ed is like the super clueless kid. He's super funny though. He's this clueless kid who pretty much like can't stay out of trouble, and so Dexter drives his mom's car. He wasn't supposed to because he didn't even have a license, and Ed was rollerblading, and then they crashed, and then Dexter's like, you gotta help me pay for this car. I wasn't even supposed to be driving. And Ed's like, okay, because you know Ed's super sweet, he's super nice, he doesn't even care, like he doesn't even really know what's going on half the time. He's just kind of like, okay. So her burger place is called Good Burger, and then across the street, a burger place called Mono Burger happens, and they lose customers because like people are more attracted to there. And then long story short, Ed's able to help him pay off the damage that was fixed, and Mono Burger gets shut down. Their burgers were like really big, and they was using illegal substances to make them bigger, and he eventually goes to jail. So yeah, I have a secret obsession, and I rate this a 7 out of 10. But this dude is like obsessed with this lady. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't watched this in a while, but I'm pretty sure she ends up losing a little bit of her memory. She lost her memory, and then in the hospital, he basically lied to her and said that this is your husband, because she didn't remember who her husband was. So he was just like, okay, well, I don't know why he was obsessed with her again, but he was obsessed with her, basically lied to her, kidnapped her in a way, and then I guess her memory started coming back, and she's like, you are not my husband, who are you? And then she ends up trying to escape, and he doesn't let her escape, and then like she's like stranded in the woods. Like it's crazy and insane, but once you watch it, you'll see that there's a lot of movies out there that have this storyline. So yeah. The next movie is called Step Sisters, and I rate this an 8 out of 10. These group of sisters, they actually step dance, and they enter a competition. It's about dancing. Kind of highlight some of the HBCU life, and I don't know if I've mentioned already, but I like to watch movies or shows that kind of highlight stuff that's going on. That's why I really love 13 Reasons Why, because it kind of brings awareness, shows what's really happening and stuff like that. So it kind of just highlights that. But pretty much it enters a competition, and I really like this movie. The last show is called Work It, and I rate this movie 8 out of 10. Simply because Liza Koshy and Sabrina Carpenter are in this. Liza and Sabrina killed this movie, and Liza is just so freaking funny. They basically are a group of dancers who are whack, and like they don't dance really well, but they want to enter a competition, and so they get help from like a really super famous guy, and then they get help, and they eventually win the competition. It's the kind of the same storyline as Stepsisters. Without Liza, the movie would have just been completely different. She killed it. She carried this movie on her back, I swear. Okay guys, this is gonna be the end of this video. I really hope that I was able to help you guys find some shows or movies to watch, and if I did, let me know by liking this video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.